Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Woman Empowered Wednesday. I am your host, Angela A. Love Lewis, and we are here today, baby, with a special honey, a special. When I say honey, I mean honey for real. A special edition because we have the Luxe Queen Honeybee herself. So y'all can say what you want to. I know y'all already know all about her. I know y'all have been seeing the buzz, the billboards, the interviews. You have seen the Forbes magazine spread. If you have not, this is your opportunity to find out about it. Listen, this lady is out here building an empire, and I'm all here for it. She is originally from Georgia, so she is a peach for real, real. And y'all know them peaches is hard to find for real. You know, I'm an imported peach, but I'm talking about she came straight from the tree, baby. So listen, it's a whole lot of extra sweetness when it comes straight from the tree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so excited to have you. And Dior, welcome to Woman Empowered Wednesday. How are you?
Good, good. That's a phenomenal introduction. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Listen, I don't want to really, I didn't want to give them a whole lot about who you are and what you do because you are out here building a brand every single day, adding things on here to make the Luxe Queen Honeybee brand worldwide. And so I want you to kind of share with the people how you got started, who Dior is, and whatever else you want to add to it. Because I mean, this is going to be a conversation that y'all need to tap into. Because when I tell you that we not only want to know who you are, but how did you get to be the Luxe Queen Honeybee? How are you out here marketing and branding this business where everybody is trying to get in on the buzz? All those things are necessary. And this is Woman History Month. So we just celebrated International Women's Day yesterday. And I think it's just so exciting to see women step into the position of power and influence like you have. So take it away, ma'am. Take it away.
Okay, so before we even get to the honey, the branding and all of that, as when I was younger, I always was like wanting to be, that person that people say, man, she's amazing. Man, she got this product or this and that. And so because my mom is such an influence, like my mom and my grandmother, they are women that are, my grandma was, but my mom is that woman that everybody is like, she is like this queen that just eloquently walks and speaks, and it gets your attention as she entered the room. And I was just like, what better example do I have than my mom, right? And so I appreciate that because when you're young, sometimes you don't really know. Like she'd be telling you these golden nuggets and dropping in this wisdom, and you just be like, I want to do my own thing. Of course, life happens, but you still always remember those things that my mom says. And so at a young age, I was working in journalism, mass communication, because I have a degree in that. And I always did poetry, singing. I was writing plays at the church for the community. I had inner city scripting.
No, wait a minute. I'm going to stop it right there because she didn't do too much. Now, who knew that you were doing all of that? Dior? Oh, baby, listen, it's a whole mogul empire in the making. Listen, we talked about, girl, we have not even scratched the surface. She just showed out right there. That's great.
Yes. And so my dad, of course, he always talked about education. He was like, education. I mean, he has a school of theology. So it's like my dad was not playing the radio about that.
Not at all.
Right. And so he said, okay, what kind of talents you have? You do need the education, which is great because those components that I learned in getting my, master's and certifications, it helped me in the business aspect. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, I always was writing plays. I always was drawing a crowd. I was even in high school. I graduated early and they called me back to be like Tapestry 2000. And so I wrote this play with the music and I was just, all of that great stuff. And I had a standing ovation, right?
Wow.
And so for me, I was just like, what? When you humble and you just got to be like, oh yeah, I just write poetry. I just do. then everybody was like, did you see yourself up there? And so from there, though, I already knew that I was destined to be great. And so from there,
Come on, destined to be great.
you know,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And so for a long time, you remember my mom I used to say, Mom, what does my name mean? And it always used to mean sunshine, golden one, all of that, right? And so before people used to talk about Dior, you know, they used to call me deodorant. You know how kids always make up crazy names, right? And so I was just like, at first I was just like, oh, I don't know that I like my name, not knowing, honey, Christian Dior out there, you know, you got the lady from
Elegant,
Good Times named her, right?
Yes.
And she named her daughter Dior. And so as you begin to grow, I began to say Dior, like that's just it is my government name, but it's my name. So when people introduce me, it's always Dior. And so then when my brother Reggie introduced and said, I had gone on a vacation, came back, he was like, sister, you know, Dee, we need to get into honey. And so we already had our garden. Like my granddad was a master gardener. He had a whole field of collard greens and strawberries and vegetables. And he was an entrepreneur. He was just like, I sell these collard greens, you know, back in the day, those were things that were taught because I was always under my granddad. And I was like, what is this in the field? Like, what is that? You know, every time I go to their house, I'm like, well, what is all this back here? Anyway, and so he would say, you know, you need to feed yourself. He was teaching me then that growing your own vegetables was healthier for you than all the food that we're eating now with all these chemicals and pesticides and all of that. So at a young age, you just kind of be like, you just so at all at your grandparents, you just be like, okay, like, you know, and then now you think back. So long story short, my brother came, okay, and Reggie came and he said, Dee, we need to do honey. Like, and I was like, mind you now, I just came back from Savannah Bee Company, right? Savannah. And I went into Savannah Bee Company because I was just like, oh, let's go in here. Or whoever, all the people I was like, let's go in here. You know me, just because I saw glass bottles. But what I saw was a commercialized product, right? Not as, and again, you're not talking about your competitor. You're just talking about the experience that you had. And so it was, oh, just taste this. We know our stuff will sell. Like, and I mean, it does, but I was just like, okay, mind you, my mind wasn't even on the honey part because again, I have skincare and scrubs and oil. So that was my whole thing, but it was just amazing that I saw, you know, this honey that was in the bottle. I was just like, okay, this is different. And so then when I got back, not knowing that my brother was going to say, hey, Dee, let's get into honey, I was just like, oh, well, I was just at Savannah Bee Company and so such and such, right? And so it was so funny because I was like, I don't know that I want to do that yet, though. My brother was like, well, just think about it. My brother was like, oh, I'm going to buy a metric ton of honey. I'm going to sell my car. I'm like, he was just so all the way in. I just had to be like, okay, brother, you know. And so we cleared the land. You know, I'm always talking about I'm on the land, right? So
right.
Cleared the land. We were growing vegetables and we was giving it to the people at the church and into the community because I first opened and did a launch at my dad's church, Bountiful Blessings Church Ministries. And so, you know, that's bountiful blessings, and we putting seeds in the ground to grow our business. And so when people be like, oh, you did that at church? Yeah, because listen, this is a land of fruit and multiply. So we are sowing a seed bountifully, right? And so when I took that, people were saying, oh, where did y'all come from? Like, what is this? So in my mind, I knew that if we did honey, we were going to have to do it quite differently than what we are seeing in the grocery stores or seeing at Savannah Bee Company or seeing at all these different companies. You know, there are so many honeys out there, but there isn't a truth honey out there, right? And so that's how we looked at it, because I was like, okay, well, we need to be in glass bottles, but they need to have its own unique shape that represents the flavor in the bottle. right? So my thing is, and so as I began to brand, because, you know, branding and marketing has always been my thing, but I just knew that we needed to take it to the next level. So my brother was like, oh, let's call it Truth. And so for me, I was like, okay, you know, Truth. And then as I thought about it, we all have our own truths, right? And we turned the R backwards, because that's going to be a conversation piece and an attention getter when people are like, why is the R backwards? So I told my brother, I said, okay, that's a cool idea. You know, his name is Reggie. So I said, really, you turned the R backwards. So when people say, what the R stand for, you'll be like, Reggie. You know, that's right. The ongoing joke. And I was just like,
that is an amazing concept. And I want to kind of put a pause right there, because for people who want to know about being successful in business, you know, it's more than, like you say, sometimes the product itself speaks for itself. But at the same time, on the other end, you have to think about the marketing piece of it, the branding piece of it, because it's what allows this to stand out. And sometimes people try your product because they like the packaging, you know,
they like
and so
the packaging.
yes, and it's because of that gets you in the door. The taste is what keeps people staying there, you know, and that's what that really is the power of marketing and branding. So I'm glad you brought it up like that, because whenever people are out here doing business, and that is really what a Woman Empowered Wednesday is about, is really giving people information on how, if you're in business, if you're out here trying to brand yourself, what is that thing, you know, they used to what they say all the time, your unique position, you know, whatever. What is that thing that makes you stand out from everybody else? And that's key.
And that's key. And so for us, it was, and so I always tell people when I am consulting or talking to them about branding and marketing, I always say, when you create a product, is this something that the consumer needs or the consumer wants? Because if it's a want, then you're going to have to strategically market it in order to make it seem like this is something that they need. And so when we went to doing honey, our goal was to have a honey that helps aid in the body. So a lot of times when I was doing makeup and doing skincare, I would use honey on the skin. I would use honey in the hair, because, you know, it helps clear your skin. Honey is an antioxidant for the body. So you can rub it on your skin and it will heal the scar. So a lot of times we were doing our research heavily on honey, because the Black community wasn't aware of all the benefits that honey has for the human body. So now here we are, we're introducing honey, but we're not introducing your orange blossom, your lavender, your wildflower. And for me, I always said we would never do that because it's already out there. And so for us, we wanted to do like a lemon ginger, because one, now, you know, lemon and ginger is good for the inside. It helps your stomach, helps with headache. You know, it does a lot. It settles your stomach. And so a peppermint honey, which is good for asthma and allergies. So a lot of times everybody say, oh, get your local honey. For us, we didn't want to just be locally known. We wanted to be able to go around to all the states, everywhere, and people can take the peppermint honey. You see? So that's that part of branding. So then, you know, my brother, we got it. We got it. And so at first, this is how you know your product was really good. I'm going to take this bottle. I'm not going to show that side. So we had a whole bottle like this, right? Or just a regular bottle with no label. That's how our products would look. We didn't have any labels. Okay. We went to New York. It was New York. We didn't have any labels on our bottles. Got to New York. We did this honey festival, right? Everybody bought out the honey. Actually, even before then, my girlfriend's a high power attorney. She had a event, right? Matter of fact, I never forget this. I was getting my hair done. And my girlfriend that does my hair was saying, bring your honey out. I was like, girl, no. Like, you know, me, girl, no. She was like, bring it out. She's doing a major event. And I said, and you know, as friends, you just, you support, but you just be like, so because she's real, you know, funny, but she was like, she know her stuff, right? So she was like, oh, this tastes so good, girl, bring it here. I want you set up. I don't have no vendors there, but I want you set up. We set up, right? And once we set up, we sold out. Like our product sold out in a matter of an hour. We made $5,000 that night, right? And this was our very first being somewhere, and we didn't even have any labels on the bottles, right? So when people tasted the honey, they automatically knew when they tasted liqueurs, when they tasted all of that. And so then we knew at that point, we got some hot and we need to come in hot and we need to keep going, right? And so fast forward to an official launch of the honey. So we were going into a gift store, a Buckhead gift store, very high end, and like 2 days before the launch. So the first day I had a bumper to bumper accident. Mind you, that was the day we get ready to prep and do all this stuff. So at that point, I was going into work early again, working for another corporation. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a minute too. Working for another corporation, and I had a bumper to bumper, right? So I had to call in. I had to say I wasn't gonna make it, although the guy in front of me truck was made of steel, and the car that I had at that time was real. I had a Genesis, but it was a limited Genesis because it was specially made or something. I don't know how my brother found that car anyway. And so, but still, I didn't get a scratch on my car, didn't get a scratch on his, but everybody was like, you need to go to the hospital. All right. Went to the hospital, right? The doctor in there did x-rays, gave me pain medicine, but then they said, oh, did you know that you have a nodule on your upper respiratory lung? Did you know you have a nodule on your throat? And I was like, I'm like, what? I was like, nah, what? You know, mind you, I'm in the hospital by myself. So they gave me the medicine, they monitored me. So I got in the car, I called my brother. You know, I was like, Reggie, you know, they look me cry. Reggie, I didn't want to tell my mom them because I don't want them to stress out. Right. You know, so I called my Reggie, this is what the doctor said. Look, to me, like, you know, little sister. He was like, we're gonna go into prayer. I said, okay, look, now you gotta motivate me now, because I'm still like, you know, sometimes you need somebody to be able to fill you up, right? Refill you. You done deposited all this and everybody else. So you need to reset. We prayed, and I said, okay, look, girl, after that prayer, I was ready to go home, right? You know, we get all of the bottles together, all of everything for the lunch. I had business cards, I had the special boxes for all the social media, all the news anchors, it was Jasmine Guy, it was Tyler Perry, makeup artist, it was all these elite people, right? And so Raphael was there helping, y'all know, everybody, right? Okay. At this time, at about we worked so hard for the lunch that day. It was like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. At this time, it was time to get my son up, get him ready for school. So I said, okay. I said, son, I get him up. I drive him to school, right? Mind you, normally, okay, I would either have the music playing, I might get a phone call from a friend in the morning, and I'm driving. But this day, there was no music, no nothing. You know, after I drop my son off, I drive back, right? And so I told my son, have a great day, you know, I love you, whatever. This is the day of the lunch. So we were getting ready to go. And so I drive back from his school, maybe about 5 minutes from my neighborhood. I don't even know. I fell asleep at the wheel, right? The medication was still in my system. All I remember was, it smelled like green apple. Mind you, I forgot that I had like some green apple sodas or something in my trunk. So from that first hit, it crashed. I mean, it shattered the glass, some of them, but I didn't know that because we didn't even think to look back there, right? Because everything else was okay, no dents or nothing. So anyway, I went off of the embankment, airborne into a massive tree, right? But mind you, I was asleep. So when I said, whoop, I said, I'm up. At this point, there is no turning the wheel because you're you're flying in the air, right?
Right. Oh my God.
And so this is the day of the launch. The day of the launch. I mean, everybody's waiting, right? And so I'm in the car, and everybody always wants that experience. And I am doing my documentary, my book on that. So, but I will give a little tidbit. So I was in there, and amazingly, it was really peaceful. A lot of people sometimes don't believe that factor of when death is here. It's like, it was so peaceful. It was a bright light, and I'm sitting here at this point. It's either, hey, God, I'm not ready to die. I know I got more work to do, or it's your time. And it's that's just your moment, right? And so I was just like, oh God, I was just sitting here, you have that candid conversation, because at this time, everything has slowed down and it's slow motion as I'm in this air, right? Okay. And I hit a massive tree, which really I should be not here today, but God. Okay. So, and I said all I had to say, and of course I'm gonna share that later. And so next thing I know, I hear God say, put your hands up, because now I'm really about to go down. So I put my hands up and I moved the airbag pops out, all airbags. And then, so at this point, I'm still kind of like, did this really happen? So I'm screaming, but I'm still like trying to gather my stuff, because now I think the car's not cutting off. It can catch a fire. And so I'm in this trench, right? And I look up, and it's this man with piercing eyes. I always say this was my guardian angel, right? Piercing eyes. And he's standing at the top of the hill. Mind you, I'm down in the trench. He reaches out his hand and say, like, you ready now? Are you ready? So come on. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I don't even know who this man is. When he drove off, there was no tag, there was no nothing, but you can tell the presence of the individual, right? And so the ambulance would come, the neighbor called the ambulance. And so the ambulance, I could hear the guy as he's wrapping me up and putting me on the gurney, all in he was like, she should be dead anytime. And so the other guy was like, but she's not, right? And I'm hearing this conversation as I'm laying here, like, and so everybody's rushing, and my brother was like, gee, I'm not going. Mind you, all I could think about was, I'm alive, you need to go. Gather the team and you guys go. Okay, so at this point in my life, right, you got nerve pain, you're on 45 different medications. It's so much that is, you're having blackouts. I could be 5 minutes away from my job having blackouts, don't know where I am, And so as I'm sitting here, as I have begun to tell people about all the great things that this honey can do and these wellness drinks can do, now it's time for me to understand what my truth is, right? Because I'm still here. So now I need to, as the phrase, as I always tell everybody, walking in your truth, honey. Yes. Because it's time to walk in your truth. And for me, I always tell people, it doesn't matter what your past is. Your past is your past, but it also catapults you to your presence and your future. So now you need to walk in it and own it. So I had to own the fact that I can't walk. I got nerve pains and I'm tired. I don't have any energy, And so as I was sitting at the table, I called my brother. He created the pure stamina, right? When he created, it was so earthy, but I knew that it was something that, yes, he created, but it was time for me to recreate it and give it its touch, right? And so he gave it to me. He was like, drink this. I was like, ooh, this, I was like, this is so nasty. He was like, drink it and make it, do whatever you need to do, drink it, right? And so I was drinking it. And then I was sitting at the table and I said, oh, God said, I've given you the things of the land, right, to make you feel better. So why aren't you utilizing those? And at that point, I'm sitting here looking at, what my favorite bottle is, the turmeric, ginger, honey, right, with the cinnamon. So I began to take it every day. And I noticed that as I was taking it, the nerve pain went away. I began to drink the pure stamina, and the blood pressure went down, the cholesterol went down. So these are the benefits of our product, right? And of course, everybody always have their testimonies about our product, but now I really have to trust our own product because this is all I got, right? Because I'm not taking 45 medications because that's just, my body's going to reject it. It has been rejected. And so as you go back to the doctor, as I went back to the doctor was just like, I don't know what you're doing. I know you're not taking that medicine, but whatever you're doing, keep up the good work. Because now, I don't see any nodules. I don't see any nerve pain. I don't see anything. Like I'm telling him, I'm feeling this thing. He's like, I don't see nothing. Whatever you're doing, you're doing. And so from that, when you're passionate about things, you have to be passionate about your business and your brand. And so when you're walking in your truth, this is your truth. This is what you're called to do. So, and that's how I began to know that, okay, it's time to take this to another level. Then from there, because everybody was asking me, can you make something for this ailment? Can you make something for this? So I always will pull out my herb dictionary, right? Because I'm like, wait a minute, I need to go through here and see what we got, right? And so
that speaks so much to your professionalism and your dedication to not just have a product, but to really make sure that what you're putting out there is going to be consumer friendly and what your customers need. And that's what separates you and why Truth Honey is the truth, because you are really back behind the scenes making it do what it do. So, girl, come on, girl, finish the story, girl.
That's so funny. And so from there, sorry about that. And so we then, after you sit and I was doing these different events and I was just telling people about these events, telling people about this. And so one friend, she's not here no more, but bless her soul, she would say to me, and this is how actually I got honeybee, right? She would say, so everybody was like, oh, this honey. She was like, oh, she is the honeybee. And I was like, girl, no, I'm just a beekeeper, So she would say, as she introduced me now, that's Dior, the honeybee. I was like, okay, so now everybody's calling me the honeybee. But I took it a step further because we got an elegant brand, and everybody knows when I hit the scene, I'm luxury, and we need to normalize luxury because there's nothing wrong with being luxury, right? People have always thought that you can't be, you bougie. No. God want us to be wealthy.
Baby.
God wants us to enjoy the things that we work for. So, there's nothing wrong with being luxury and elegant. I could go on about that. So, and then, of course, as a queen of the hive, she has worker bees and just different little things. So now I'm a honeybee, but I'm a queen honeybee, and now I'm Luxe queen honeybee. And so because people always say, oh, you got queen bee. I said, there is a queen bee, but I am a Luxe queen honeybee. So it's a difference in the two, right? And so that's how it was created. So now you got Dior, the golden one, Luxe queen honeybee, right? And as a queen, you walk in strength. You're resilient, you're courageous, you're bold, you're fierce, you're revolutionary. And then the more that I just begin to walk in that, the more that's what the business protrudes. That's what I protrude. That's what anybody that is associated with me is going to protrude. Because if you're in my circle, you're going to be high level like I am, right? And that's right. And that's just that.
So let's say this, because for anybody who was listening, who's going to catch this on the replay, I want to pull out a key few things because it's important when you are out here building a brand. Number one, you identify the fact that in branding, you have to separate and do something different. So you guys talked about having truth with the R turned backwards because that was a conversation piece. But you also have to go in and be a product of your product. So when you got to a position where you had to require the need, as you're talking about what Truth Honey does, you had to let people know, I know from personal experience what it did for me. Then you took it a step further to say that other people, as they're asking about different things, you put in the work and did the research to make sure that your products are going to have the properties needed to help people to have certain health benefits that maybe they wouldn't get doing any other type of medications without the side effects.
Right.
Then you also go in and say that because I know who I am, I know what I represent, I'm going to come up with a unique name that actually lets people know when they hear it, Dior Luxe Queen Honey Bee, and let people know you got to understand the difference because it's just not your ordinary. So those are some key things for people when you are trying to look at, because Dior is giving us a whole branding and marketing class within 30 minutes. She has put it down on how you need to go out and really put your product out there.
Right.
Take pride in it, but figure out what's unique about it. What makes it stand out? Be a product of your product. Use it. Put it out there so people know that I'm not just saying, oh, get my stuff and then I ain't never used it. No, use it so that you can tell people and you can do what you say, walk in your truth, period.
Yes.
Because that's what it's all about.
It
but
is.
Then to get that fabulous name, to get the Luxe Queen Honey Bee, now that's something that people notice. People now identify her with her brand. And I just think that's so amazing because I know those components is what led you to get into Forbes magazine.
Yes. So you are your brand, right? So if everybody sees me, okay, so before it was Truth Honey, right? Which is the honeycomb. That is the brand, and everybody needed to see Truth Honey. I wanted that. My brother wanted that to be a household name. Currently now, it's a household name. We can have our banners out somewhere. Everybody be like, oh, that's Truth Honey. I was in Lowe's the other day, and I had a Truth Honey, one of our old shirts on, and he was like, I thought that was you. And I was like, yeah, okay, people see us everywhere, right?
Right.
And so one day, so a lot of times people think that when you have a product, it's wrong to give free products. So I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you that when you are sponsoring, first of all, people don't know who you are, right? So you got to get your product out there. So within the first 3 or 4 years, you automatically know that you're pouring into your company before you can see the residual income from it, right? And so I had a friend that was like, hey, can you sponsor this event? Now, mind you, I've always was a giver, right? So when we be at events, it'll just touch me and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna give you this. Not that I wanted something in return because they don't even know who I am really. So I'm doing it because I want to do it. And then when people come back and say, oh man, you touched me so much that this product did this, that, another, right? And so one day my friend called and he was like, hey, I'm going to do this event. Can you sponsor the event? Can you send something? I was like, okay, for whatever day, this day, I was just like, okay, what do you need? And what event is it? And so as I find out that it was the first Black woman to do US polo and jazz, it was like a major thing. And I was like, what's this woman? Let me look her up, right? And so before I even did all that, he was like, but can you do like maybe some glazes, or can you do like some samples? And so I was like, well, how many VIP and how many does she need? It's last minute, but just tell me, I'll send some. So I sent about maybe about 50 or 60 samples. I also sent a honey liqueur and some glazes. I just did what I did. And so when she got it, she was like, oh my God, this is so phenomenal. Who are you? Like, you're great. And so as I got on the phone, we didn't even meet. We just met verbally over the phone. And so she was like, you're great. You need to be somewhere great. And so she called and she was like, I want to work with you on promoting and doing your things. And so she was telling me that she was like, your product needs to be in various magazines. Now, mind you, I had already told my team, this is the year that we're going to get in magazines. This is the year that we're going to be on covers of magazines, in major magazines. I've always said that, right? And throughout, sometimes it's not what you know, is who you know sometimes, and sometimes is about your presence and your atmosphere, in the atmosphere, right? You're making that present in the vibe of the room, like just period. Now, my vibe was through the phone and through my product. So your product speaks volume. What is your product, right? And so she was like, hey, let's talk about Forbes. I said, huh?
Where?
She said, let's talk about Forbes. Let's talk about Food Networking magazine. Let's talk about these magazines. And so I was like, okay, me, okay. And then we got off the phone. She called back. She was like, let's talk about Forbes. What are you doing? And I said, I was like, oh, I'm thinking, now y'all know I'm the motivation and the one to push. And now I got somebody that's doing the same thing to me that I would do too, right? And so we talked about it. And prior to that, I told my team, we're taking a leap, we're going to do it. Prior to that, I had got on the billboard. So y'all know we was talking about that billboard. Prior to that, I had got on Connect 365 front cover. Then, you know, Monica Kaufman Pearson had our product in the Very Vera show. So things were moving. And so when she said do Forbes, now mind you guys, you got to pay to play. It's levels to high level marketing, right? Right. So I want to make sure we put that out there. But as we begin that process of Forbes, it was moving so fast. And I knew this was God telling me now is your time, because I had just done a photo shoot, didn't have anything to do with this Forbes. I had just said I needed some updated pictures. I need to rebrand. You know how sometimes you just need to rebrand. You know, I lost all the weight and I needed to just redo something different, right? And so I did. And so she called, she was like, you got your portfolio, right? You got your bio, right? You got this. And I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, I need this by the end of this time frame. I said, oh, okay. And so when I did it, I reached out to certain people that I thought was on an elite status, because I wanted to have some features in there. So it's one thing. So let me tell you something. When you are going into these next levels, it is okay to bring certain people with you. It is okay to make sure that, girl, all the phones going off. It is okay to make sure that you help another person. Nobody at the time that we started helped us. We were just going, but we wasn't looking for that help as we are getting now. We just hit the ground running. But there are some people that are not as fortunate as us to be able to be in the limelight or in the spaces that we're in. And so from there, it was, I'm in Forbes, but I wanted to look at these different people that are key people as well. So I included a financial firm. She's a phenomenal Black woman. I included an insurance firm. They're phenomenal. I included my sister. She's a dentist. And then I did another Black oral surgeon. So for us, it's Black men and women being in Forbes, because when you think about it, you know, Forbes is a elite magazines and just not everybody can be in there. And so let me tell you about that though. And prior to that, I have received the CEO award of health and wellness. So all of this was like, it was just coming so fast. And I said, okay,
like popping like popcorn.
Right. And I said, you know, when you pray for these things, you got to be ready to receive these things. And just because we want them doesn't mean it's our time. I have cheered on everybody with nothing, wanting nothing out of it. I just wanted everybody to win. So when people say, where did you come from and how did you get to where you are? Just remember what you laid in the ground prior to is what's going to sow after it starts to grow. Okay. So people got to remember, whatever you sow in the ground, it's gonna reap. And
you reap what you sow.
So it's really serious. So if you're putting great things in the ground and you're sowing great things, then great things will come about. And so I got into Forbes, but here we are. The devil always try to throw certain things in. we was talking about the picture, the picture in Forbes magazine. You know, I'm sitting on the floor and I got, you know, all my, look, you see me, look, I got all my little honeys in there, right? You know, the ones, you know, even the true honey. Okay, anyway, so one lady said, she should not, here we go, she should not be in Forbes like that. She needs to have on a lab coat and she needs to be sitting up in this. So it was brought back to my attention. Now, when you are confident and sure of your product and yourself, people cannot waver you to move into the direction. If I did everything inside the box, you would not know who Truth Honey is. If I turned the R forward, we would blend in like the rest. That's why we are pure and natural. We're not organic. Everybody that's organic look the same. I told her politely, I said, listen, I am the CEO. This is my corporation, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Mind you, I've worked in corporate. I've worked all over. And so I know it's a gray area and then it's black and white. Well, guess what? I'm in the gray area. And actually, I'm not even in any of that corporate area. So this is the picture we're going with. And this is what it's going to do. What I already knew at that point is it's already created a buzz and it hasn't even been out yet. You just really saw the picture and now you're creating the buzz. So it's going to create a buzz regardless because I'm a Black woman in Forbes and I have honey. And I don't look like your average beekeeper. You know, we've had that stigma.
Right. Y'all don't get them big hats and the you ain't demonstrating all that.
And you're in overalls and all this other stuff. Right. That's not your average. And I don't plan to ever be average. So that's where we are. And so we got in Forbes and I told the lady to go back and let her know, hey, I'm not changing. You can't make me change. This is what it is. And this is what it's going to be. Thank you. And so she came back and she said, you know what? She said, she told me that to go ahead and do it. And she said, well, she is, and she's not really concerned about what you said. She said, but that just motivated me to keep going because people are always telling me something about my brand. And so I say that to say that when you are confident in your brand and you know this is a need that the people want, okay, that they gotta have, you will push through. There's always going to be somebody to tell you what you can and cannot do. Right. But when the doors close, it's always another one open because guess what? You might not need it to go into that door. All money is not good money. Okay. Let's be clear about that. I've had people that to invest, but it's not all good money. And when you recognize that, then you go on and push that aside because you got a greater thing that's coming. And you always stay above the power curve because when you stand above the power curve, you already are thinking of something to be more innovative than what you already have. And that's how you begin to market and brand and hit the ground running. And you have to know that you need to set money aside for marketing because you can mediocre marketing, or you can high level marketing, or you can do nothing at all and just let it be word of mouth. However, when I know what clientele I'm trying to reach, you go into this high level marketing in order to set you apart. Whenever you see me, I always got to be on, right? I always got something on that's going to represent honeybee, whether it's a shoe, whether it's a bracelet, whether it's a shirt, whether it's my fedora.
That's powerful though. That's powerful because it speaks to intention. You have to be intentional about your brand. And that's what, you know, for Woman Empowered Wednesday, if you don't get anything else from Dior, be intentional about your brand. So everything that she does, like she says, because when you start building buzz, when you get out in these streets, people will see you and you might not know them, but trust and believe they know you. And people are waiting to see you be off your game at any point in time. So you have to always, when they say look the part, you have to embody the essence of your brand.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you have said that because I did the SEC championship, right? And you know, that day I had my yellow fedora hat on. And so after all of that, I was getting ready to go out maybe like 4 days later. And so I was going to just go out, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I'm just going to go, you know, put some jeans, shirt on, whatever. For whatever purposes, Some said, no, you need to put your fedora on. You need to be right. So I go into the beauty supply store and I'm just really walking to go get some lipstick or whatever. Somebody said, honeybee. I'm looking, I'm thinking, what? She said, honeybee. I turned around. She said, girl, I can spot you a mile away. I said, wow. Now my hat didn't say Luxe Queen. And she caught me from behind. So you didn't see the B. She was like, but I can spot you a mile away. And so then I got this mask on. I go around the corner. The girl said, oh, aren't you the honey lady from Step Stewart when you did Step Stewart show? I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, if you don't know that when you walk out that door, you better be A1 from top to bottom, because you never know who is watching. And just because nobody like your stuff or nobody comment, you better believe that they're watching. They are watching. I don't care what I say. People get, they get discouraged because ain't nobody like. Trust and believe they are watching.
Oh, that's some good word right there. Listen, because so many people will fold their business because they feel like I'm not getting the traction that I need, because you feel like you're basing your worth on likes or comments. Well, it's people out there who will see your brand and they are already telling everybody about it. They just may not be telling you. And when you can recognize somebody, when they said, honey, I recognize you anywhere, that speaks to a lot, of how people watch. Because a lot of times people are watching to see how you show up, how you do what you do. They're waiting to see how consistent you're going to be with your brand. They're waiting to see, the different things that you do. Is it going to be just mediocre and ordinary? Because like you said, even with the marketing, there's levels. You have either no marketing, mediocre marketing, or you're going to do high level. And if you're doing high level, there's certain requirements that have to be in place for you to get there. So you've got to really pay attention to your brand. But baby, listen, I'm advising everybody, go back and listen to this multiple times so you can get what you need out of that. Because creating a brand, 2020, when the pandemic hit, it caused a lot of people to shift how they want to start doing things. It caused a lot of women to step out and realize that, you know what? Maybe corporate is not for me any longer. Maybe my specific set of gifts and skills and talents, maybe what I'm doing to create my business or my brand or product or service, now I can take it to the next level. But you also got to realize it requires, again, being intentional. And what Dior is saying, because she's just having conversations, y'all, listen, Dior is out here doing her thing. She's out here creating not just a line, but multiple product lines. She's out here being in high level marketing places that most people like us don't get in, So she just having casual conversation, because for her, it's easy. Just like she said when she did the production for school, because it's easy and it's natural to her. She doesn't look at it like, oh, school is in, I need y'all to stop and pay attention. She's giving y'all so many nuggets, you don't even realize it, because it's just casual conversation. But trust and believe what she's saying can be the difference in your brand making 5 or 6 figures to, 4 or 5 figures to 6 or 7 figures. It is a definite thing that you need to pay attention to, because like she said, I don't come out the house without my honeybee necklace or some type of bee on, or with my fedora hat, all those things. So let's switch over to the fedora, because we're talking about the honey, we're talking about your brand, but let's tell them, what are the next things that the Luxe Queen Honeybee has coming?
Okay. What don't we have coming?
Thank you. That is the question. What don't they have coming? That's how big it is.
Yeah, so we have Luxe Queen Honeybee Dolce de Miel. Dolce de Miel is sweet like honey.
Come on, sweet like honey. Say it one more time.
So what? Yeah, so listen, so I always try to keep something near and dear, right? So you got your Dolce de Miel. That is our Luxe Queen Honeybee edible gold liqueur.
Edible gold. That sounds so luxurious and sexy. Dolce de Miel. Oh, that sounds
right.
Sexy.
So you got gold in the liqueur. Wow, right. I never thought about that. Okay. And so again, another signature piece. So this is my signature bottle. If you notice in all my pictures, I'm always holding it, because this one is what got me to where I am right now in
Mm-hmm.
health wise. So I always have a signature collection. And so we have fedoras. As I look at a few of them, I guess I need to grab one so y'all can see them
Go
real
on,
fast.
grab one, girl,
Let me
so
go
they
and
can
do
know
that real
what you're working with. But listen, while Dior is getting that, I want y'all to understand, it's so powerful. And that's why I love Woman Empowered Wednesdays, because it is here for you to understand what it takes to build a brand, what it takes to help you to get to the next level. Because sometimes we're in business and we get stuck, we kind of plateau out. But some of these tips are things that will help you to level up, will help you to change tax brackets, will help you to, really become a major player in the field as you're building your empire. And so Dior has came out, with a line of fedoras, because y'all know, baby, listen, these headpieces are out here rocking. And so she was just like, let me throw my hat in the game. And she did. So come on and tell us about the fedoras.
Okay, so here is one fedora. As you see, it's Luxe Queen, and you got the black and gold. This is one that is an everyday wear. Now I have this one that's
Oh,
real chic,
that's nice.
And then of course, we have the Luxe King collection, but we also have this blue.
Come on, I love that.
Yes, and so I do a pink and green for AKAs because Monica is an AKA as well. She's on our board, so we have the signature for
Come
that.
on,
And
AKAs in the house. Y'all better go on and look at that hat. That pink hat is fire. Yes, it
Okay, and
is.
so we do the fedoras. Everybody always say, when you're branding, you need to have something signature for yourself. And what makes it stand out is that Luxe Queen, my signature on the hat. I'm also creating, well, it's already created, but I'm also doing t-shirts, Walk in Your Truth. They're gonna be tank tops, t-shirts, and I'm also creating a shoe line.
Y'all, she was holding out, baby. I didn't know nothing about the shoe line. See, that's what I'm talking about. They always want to spring something on you at the last minute.
And then I have
Luxe Queen shoes.
And then I have our Luxe King and Luxe Queen body oil and scrub.
Oh, girl, they want to be sexy, girl. Y'all know, listen, sometimes you just got to show up with just a fedora and the skin that you in. Don't get grown on them. Listen, it's 12, it's afternoon. You can be grown and sexy. Come on now.
Okay,
that's
right.
Cute. And drink your edible gold. Yes.
And drink your edible gold, right? So that's it. And then, of course, I can't forget, we got our Truth Honey magazine that's coming out. Boom, boom, thanks to A. Lewis.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, that is so amazing. Each and everything that you're talking about are key components, and it's just building off of what's already out there. And I love that because it really helps when you're talking about branding and marketing. You took the concept that your brother said, let's get into honey, and you was like, what? But look at where coming from honey has brought you all the way to not only just honey for the properties of, sweetening different things, but you have taken it to a wellness product. You've taken it to be able to, help you with skin issues because you've talked about the properties that it has. You talked about separating it, not just what everybody else does, but having the peppermint version, the ginger turmeric version. So these are things that people are hearing about, and they know that health-wise really can help you internally heal from different things you have going on. Then you done flipped up and came with the fedoras, and not only did you do the Luxe Queen, but then you want to show out and say the Luxe King can come on in and be right there with you. So y'all, it's a family affair. I'm telling you, it's royalty. And it makes you feel good because when you talk about a luxury brand, everyone wants to feel a certain type of way. So as you're connected to this brand, it is allowing you to elevate, and it's allowing you to see yourself for the greatness that God has already put inside of you. So now it's full circle because honey it's natural. You can find that, you know what I'm saying? It's not manufactured. It's right there. It's natural. So now you're getting the goodness of the land, and you bring it all the way back around full circle to help you feel like the king and the queen, the luxury king and queen that you are. from
Yes.
something that was already in the land that they have marketed and positioned to
Mhm.
be major when it comes to a brand. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's why, honey, I want to tell y'all, listen, it's again, like she said, it's who you connected to. And when I tell you, I'm so grateful that God allowed me to connect with Dior, because if y'all can't tell, she
Yes.
is so down to earth, so real. That's why I said, like, she just talking, you know what I'm saying? She's not even realizing that she is dropping like multi-million-dollar information. That's how powerful this conversation is. Don't sleep on it. Come on, Dior.
Look, and I do Luxe Queen product marketing and branding consulting. So if you do want to high level your business, feel free to reach out to me.
Yes, honey, gonna give them that contact information, because listen, you want to be with someone who has proven strategies that has gotten her. Like, she started here, and I'm telling you, look where God has taken her, to a fedora line, a shoe line, to skincare products, to edible gold inside this bottle, to even the packaging and the branding, the labeling, all those things. Look how exclusive and good that looks like. That is something that when you go to the party and you look at that gold shimmer, if
You
y'all
see
better
it?
stand up and see the shimmer up in the gold, baby. Listen, I want to be like, who don't want to listen? For my birthday, I'm gonna have to give me some, because listen, I'm gonna have to be drinking me
Okay.
some edible gold on my birthday. When I get that 5-5, baby, I need to be sipping on me some edible
Okay.
gold.
Give you some
Yes.
edible gold. Okay. Okay.
Yes, girl. Yes. I'm telling y'all, that is the beauty of being connected to someone, but connect to business people who are so humble. And I mean, she gave y'all so much. So you just imagine she gave you this for free. What you gonna get when you get in this class? That's what you need to be talking about. I'm gonna need her
Okay.
phone to be ringing. Y'all see, she already was talking about, girl, the phones is popping, and that was phones with an S, meaning there was more than one that was out there popping, because people trying to get her in, and they trying to get in where they fit in.
Right.
Or please tell people how they can get in contact with you, and then
Okay.
whatever else you want to leave the audience with.
Okay, so I can be reached on all social media platforms. On Twitter, I am truth_honey. On Facebook, I have Truth Honey Dior, Dior, or the Truth Honey fan page. On Instagram, I am the page, the THE page, PAGE of Truth, TRUTH Honey. And the website, of course, let me not forget that, is
Forget the website.
www.truthhoney.com. You could call us on our 800 number for Truth Honey orders, which is 1-800-461-4355. Now, if you are looking for consultation and assessment of your brand, I can be reached at 404-957-3045.
You better get that number one more time, Dior, because somebody done sit there and got the 4 and the 5 switched around. Get them that number again, because I don't want y'all to miss out on this opportunity to get branded by someone who has taken herself in the Forbes and listened and told them people that, listen, you're not gonna put me in a lab coat, because I know my business, and I know. So if she knows her business, she can help you to learn yours, so that you can be a boss out here in these streets. What's the
Yeah.
number again, Dior?
Okay, so if it's the honey and you have things for that, it's 1-800-461-4355. If it's for branding, luxury branding, high level marketing, it is 404-957-3045. If I don't answer, then text, hey, branding, marketing, and we will return your call as soon as possible. Always remember to walk in your truth. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody look at you and say, oh, you're not going to be anything. That's your motivation to be somebody great.
Come on, that's your motivation to be somebody great. Listen, again, this is Woman Empowered Wednesday. We are with Dior, Luxe Queen, Honey Bee. So listen, and that just goes back to say, she said back in the day, people used to make fun of her name and everything, and now look at it. Look at them now, baby. They're gonna be messing around here with her name on their head and on their feet. So
Okay.
let just let you know, for people who have felt like nobody takes me seriously. Nobody,
Yeah.
always speaks negative against me. People have always told me I wouldn't make it or I couldn't be anything. That's
Yeah.
to let you know that, baby, you don't have to be what somebody told you they thought you were going to be. Be
Right.
great. Be who God called you to be. Step into your greatness and embrace who you are, because the things you went through is positioning you to have people. What I was telling me and Eliasa talked earlier, and the Bible says that God will make your enemies your footstool, baby. So
All
trust and
day.
believe.
Hmm.
While they was talking about Dior right about now, they're trying to call Dior, trying to see if they can get in on
And
some of this
and
honey.
are.
And do, yes, I'm
Okay.
telling you, don't underestimate the fact people say a
Listen.
whole lot of stuff, but when greatness is upon you, sometimes the hardest trials and the most things that come against you are because you're meant to be great. And
And to
when
be
you line
great.
up with who you're meant to be, oh, look at
Yeah.
God. Like just like she said, this is her season. All the stuff that she sees that she's planted and sown
Listen.
in the ground are now coming to fruition. And so just
Yeah.
as it's happened for her, it can happen for you. Don't underestimate where you are in your business. It takes time, but trust and
Mhm.
believe. If you stay faithful, if you stay committed, then
Yeah.
you can get out here and make your brand a household name. You can. Don't let
You
anybody
can.
tell you any different, because Dior gave you a whole thing. Go back and listen to it. Listen, put it on repeat at night so that you hear somebody telling you that you can be great. You can be a boss out here in these streets. You can get your brand and build an empire and have
Listen.
a
Yeah.
legacy, because I'm telling you, it's possible.
They got to set the atmosphere. I'm big on activating and
Yes,
setting the atmosphere. Okay.
yes. Set the atmosphere. Call Dior. Let her know. Like she said, if she don't answer, you better leave a message and say branding and marketing so she can help you get yourself where you need to be. So again, this is Woman Empowered Wednesday, Dior. And I laughed because I told her, I said, baby, you was up here with Beyonce and Cher and all them. When you ain't got but one name, uh, you doing the doggone thing, right? Thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate it. We will see you out next week. Have a
Thank
good one.
you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.